Hi, I'm Dan Herbert and I'm a course developer and tutor at Point Blank Online. I've been working for over 20 years as a musician, sound designer and programmer. I released tracks in the mid-90s on Ouch, Tasty and Storm, and have also worked in TV and film. In this series of tutorials we're going to be checking out the Max for Live plugins which we've been developing here at Point Blank. These are available for you guys to download for free. Make sure you subscribe to the Point Blank YouTube channel and also check out our free sample courses at pointblankonline.net. Here is the latest Max for Live device from Point Blank. It's called the Kick Drum Designer and synthesizes bass drums by using a series of envelopes to modulate the pitch and amplitude of the basic waveforms. And these are some of the techniques we explore using Operator in the Ableton Sound Design course. If you're not familiar with the latest Max for Live version, there's also a drum synth included in the Max for Live Essentials pack, which is freely downloadable from Ableton's website if it's not already installed, and is definitely well worth checking out. You can find this from Max for Live, Max Instrument, and down here we've got drum synth and then kick, and then you can drop that in. It offers you a number of different parameters, and you can also preview the sounds by clicking here. So let's install the Point Blank Kick Drum Designer. So I've downloaded it, double click to unzip it, and then probably the easiest place to install it is our user directory, music folder, Ableton, and then a user library, presets, and it's an instrument, so we're going to put it into instrument, Max Instrument, and let's drag the Kick Drum Designer into there. Now let's come back to Ableton, and here's our user library. Open up presets, instruments, Max Instrument, and there we can see our Kick Drum Designer ready to go. If you want to, we could drag this folder across, and then you can always quickly jump straight to your Max Instruments like that. So let's add this device. And here is the Point Blank Kick Drum Designer. So we've got three fully customizable envelopes here: an amp envelope, a pitch envelope, and a filter envelope. The filter is not always in the circuit, always depends on this menu here. At the moment that is switched to off. So to test this out, let's just insert an empty MIDI clip and put in 4 notes, and let's press play. So we can affect the length of the kick drum by adjusting the envelope length value here. This in turn affects the length of each of these envelopes. And we've got also here a waveform select. So at the moment it's on Sine. I could choose triangle wave for a slightly more distorted type of sound. We're going to leave it on Sine to start off with and explore these different envelopes. So these envelopes are fully customizable. We can create new nodes, we can delete them, we can also introduce curves as well between the different nodes. And the setting of these envelopes is really crucial depending on what kick drum sound you're after. Probably the most significant envelope is the pitch envelope, which we'll come to in a minute. So let's just reshape the amplitude of this kick drum. So we can give it more weight by going for a kind of straight across approach, or introduce kind of tighter transient, or if we want it to ring on a bit longer, then we can adjust the envelope accordingly. We can add new nodes just by clicking, and they can move that around, or we can introduce a curve simply by holding down the Alt key and then dragging with your mouse. So to delete, just shift click. That's fine. Now what really defines a kick drum is the pitch envelope, and this basically sweeps the pitch of this sine wave down really quickly from a high frequency to a lower frequency. We can adjust the range by adjusting the high value and the low value here. We've also got a frequency value for the low setting as well. So let's open this up so it becomes more obvious. Just shift click to remove that one. So you can hear it's sweeping down in terms of frequency and getting down to 55 Hz or A0 for the low frequencies. As I speed the attack stage up, it then turns in to the transient. And this is all through the pitch envelope. Depending on how high that initial value is the type of click you'll get on your kick. And as we bring it down lower, we get a darker sounding kick. We can often then extend that out a bit. So this is really worth exploring and taking time just to see what difference in sound can be achieved. If you wanted to, you could also introduce a little kind of pitch pump. And there's nothing stopping you using this kick drum designer actually to create bass sounds with. We can also change the fundamental frequency of this kick. So you want something deeper, just pull it down to around 35 Hz, or you can go higher. Or you don't have to have any pitch modulation at all, and you could put the envelope all on the same line, and then we can just tune it that way. So the pitch envelope is key when experimenting around with kick drums, and it's well worth just spending a bit of time adding in some different modes, trying different curve shapes to see what type of sound you can get. And just takes a bit of time to experiment and explore. Once you find a sound you like, you can then store it in one of the 7 presets. So to store on these presets, you just need to hold down the Shift key and click on a button. There's already some presets in here, so let's check these out. And the great thing about this device is we've also included a preset morphing slider, and this morphs between all the different presets. You can see the envelopes interpolating between the different presets. You can get some real interesting combinations. It can also be quite useful in a creative way as well, and automate this parameter. Now, if you're going to be using the morphing slider, I recommend you restrict your presets just to use one waveform and also the same filter type. So let's take a look at those now. At the moment, we've been using sine wave. I can choose, for example, triangle wave. And we get a bit of a kind of harder sound. Could also choose saw wave, but we really need to filter that. And we've also got sine and noise as well. We'll come back to sine and noise. Let's look at saw wave and come over to the filter envelope. So we've got all the standard filters here. So we're just going to choose low pass filter. And then just want to reshape the filter envelope. So that sounds like quite a full sound. So the modulation amount is controlled by this amount control here. We can basically restrict the frequency range. If you want to, we could also introduce some resonance to the filter. That's giving us a slightly harder sound. The other waveform available is sine plus noise. Now this generates a sine wave, which is controlled by the amp and pitch envelope, and also generates white noise, which is routed through the filter. So we can adjust the level of the noise. And let's open up the filter. So we can use this to add a little bit more bite to the sound. And this will help it cut through. In the context of a mix, and it's just a question again of adjusting to taste. It's probably a bit too loud. If I turn it all the way down and then bring it back up again. The other way to introduce a click on the transient is to adjust the phase. Let me switch this back to Sine. Take filter off. Pull the phase down to 0. And then as I increase it, you can hear it adding a click to the sound. And again, this will help give the kick drum a bit more bite. If you want to store your presets, then you can store them in a normal way. Click on save, and this will save any presets you've stored as an Ableton preset, which you can then load into different projects.
At Point Blank Online, you've got two methods of interaction with your tutor. Firstly, you've got the weekly online masterclass, which is in real time. And then also we've got feedback on your assignments, and that's known as DVR. So the online masterclass is a 1-hour session you get with your tutor every week. You can ask questions about the lesson content and get instant feedback, and also demonstrations on the fly from their computer desktop with our streaming technology. DVR stands for Direct Video Response, and the concept is really simple. You upload your Ableton Logic or Cubase project file to your tutor, he downloads it and then pushes record on the screen capturing software and evaluates your work, so basically giving you one-to-one feedback. You see all of the mouse movements and any parameter changes made by your tutor. It's kind of like sitting in the studio over their shoulder watching what they're doing whilst they work. We've found the DVR process has truly revolutionized the way that we teach online, and the results speak for themselves. Book your place on the course now by visiting pointblankonline.net.